Ghosting, right? No, ghosting isn't so bad. It's often beneficial and necessary. So I'm going to talk about that perspective coming up next. What's good, everyone? Mario here. In this video, what I want to do is offer a different take on the topic of ghosting, which is really easy to shit on. It's really easy to be negative and slam it, but what I want to do is share with you a different perspective that shows it in a more positive light, that shows why it's not so bad and useful and sometimes beneficial and necessary, all right? But first, let me remind you that if you're not fully satisfied with your current love life experiences, then I invite you to join my free Love Life Academy for opportunities and resources that are all designed to help you level up your game. So if you're serious, go ahead and click that link in the description. All right. So ghosting, which is basically, common sort of explanation of ghosting, is when you disappear on somebody, which you could do personally and family and friends, and also in situations romantic where you're dating or seeing somebody. You can stop taking somebody's phone calls and speaking to them. You can stop answering texts or stop sending texts, and you could just disappear on somebody, and that's why they call it ghosting. And that's really a shot to someone's ego. All right, when you ghost them, like, oh, I'm so important. And that's one of the big things. Ghosting is a lot about your ego, about your importance. And ghosting also hurts a lot more to the person when they're invested and they don't necessarily have options. If you notice, when people get upset about ghosting, it's not somebody that has tons of options. We're like, well, fuck this person. I'll just, I've got other people that I'm seeing. I'm a catch. It's the fewer options that you have, the more likely you are to be like super upset if somebody ghosts you. Like if you're dating 3 people at a time, you don't care if one of them is like, just kind of starts drifting away. You're like, fuck it. Well, I've got other people that I wanted to connect with and they want to connect with me. So you're not going to be really tripping out on it. But having options really impacts how you're going to respond to a ghosting situation. Now, I want you to think about it in a few other ways. I want you to understand that people will say things like, well, isn't the truth the best policy? Most cases it is. Not always, though. So, for example, today in my Facebook group, somebody posted about, wouldn't this be a better solution to than just ghosting somebody? And the answer is no. Because the whole reason you're ghosting somebody is because you don't want to fuck with them anymore. You don't want to deal with them. You don't want to have interactions with them anymore. So why do you start that interaction going? Because once you start it, you don't necessarily have the control to say that it's over once you say, I'm going to speak my piece and be done. No. Once you send any of these messages, here's what likely happens 8 times out of 10. Somebody reads it, and what do they start doing? They call you or they text you, and it doesn't end there. They want to go back and forth, and possibly it turns nasty. Very likely, if it keeps on going, they're going to say something nasty like, fuck you anyway, blah, blah. They could tell you something mean about something insulting. They could say, I didn't like you anyway. I was faking it. I was fucking someone else or whatever. I was using you or whatever. People are going to be nasty when they get their feelings hurt. So it's not a great idea to kind of sign up for continuing that experience. And understand, if you're not in a real relationship where it's either that's your spouse or if it's a committed relationship of boyfriend-girlfriend, if you're single, you don't owe anybody shit. That's the beauty of being single, is you don't owe anyone shit. You could walk away at any point in time. So you can ghost somebody when you lose interest in them. And trust me, we've all done this, okay? We've all ghosted people. And online dating is a fantastic example, because if you're single, you've dabbled in online dating. And what you've understood is that with online dating, you've had these connections, and not all of them you still have unresponded to. You have messages that you have not responded to. Well, essentially, you've ghosted somebody where you've lost interest and you just didn't respond to them. But you don't consider yourself an asshole. You don't consider yourself a bitch because, you just stopped talking to somebody without an explanation, but you did it. Look, you need to understand that it's just a little bit more of an investment that's involved. But whether you're connecting with somebody over an online dating platform, or if you've been texting, or even if you've dated somebody a few times, you're free to ghost on anybody. Really, like you're not committed to. You're not committed to them. They're not committed to you. You guys don't owe each other shit, so you can't act like they owe you shit. You can get upset when somebody is your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your spouse, and then they ignore you like, what the fuck? You can absolutely go off in those situations, but when somebody isn't committed to you, you don't really have that opportunity. I want you to think about ghosting, and comparing it to a job interview. In job interviews, you would love to get the job right, but what do? They say, thanks. Thanks for coming in for interviewing, but we'll be in contact with you. And you're like, fuck, well, what does that mean? Well, you kind of know what it means. It means that they're going to call you if they really want to hire you. And if they don't want to hire you, there's like an 80% chance you don't get a phone call or any sort of message, and a 20% chance that you get a message or a text or an email that says, thank you for applying, but we've gone in a different direction. They know that they don't want to deal with people that they're not going to hire, because the odds are it can blow up in their face. Imagine calling somebody on the phone, leaving them an email, or asking them to come back into the office just to say, like, thanks, but you weren't good enough because maybe we didn't think you could catch on to what we're doing here. You're just not qualified. You're just not. People didn't like you. We didn't think you'd fit in with the office. Whatever it is, it would not go well. You could have somebody who is now wanting to curse and make a scene, or they'll badmouth your business, or they'll disrupt your work site, whatever. Businesses know that this can end really poorly when you give people bad news. People don't like bad news. Newsflash, right? But the same thing happens with ghosting. People don't like bad news. It doesn't go well. It's like you're playing with like Russian roulette. If you want to keep on giving somebody the full truth, they're going to blow up on you. And then it's going to be a negative experience. So for a lot of people, they're just like, fuck it. Like with online dating, I'm connecting with so many people, or just someone who's single, they're connecting with so many people that it's brutal if you try and give everybody a full attention and every sort of respect and whatever that they might deserve. It could be exhausting. All right, so we don't do that. So what I want you to understand is that ghosting streamlines shit of you moving on, and it streamlines them moving on. Does it have some rough edges around it? Sure. Ghosting also allows people to minimize sort of conflict, because most people are conflict averse. Most people want to avoid it. So it's not that somebody is a bad person, but they don't want to purposely be the bad person. But sometimes there's no escaping being the bad person or giving bad news. But hey, if no one's going to stick a gun to your head, or if nobody's there to watch over you, what's your decision going to be like? I'd rather just not do anything, because ghosting takes zero energy to perform. All right, that's the thing. Ghosting is the easiest thing to do. It's more effort to call somebody, text somebody, spend some time on a conversation, go meet in person. So, ghosting is inevitable. It's natural. It avoids conflict. It streamlines. It saves energy. And it's efficient. All right. So there's so many good reasons why you, I, and everyone have ghosted and will continue to ghost people. But you really can't get mad at somebody for avoiding conflict, or you can't get mad at them for not wanting to give bad news to you because you're not going to take it well, or just feeling like, fuck it, I don't owe anybody anything. That's the truth. So I just wanted to give you a different perspective on the topic of ghosting. I know it's shitty. I know it feels bad. I know we love to have, all the answers. I want to know why. You don't want to know why. All right. That's people who can't think ahead. I want all the truth all the time. No, you don't. And I want to know why. No, you don't. All right. I'm sorry to tell you. There's a lot of stuff that sounds really good in theory, but in reality, you're like, fuck, that's not what I wanted. It's like asking a genie for something and not really planning out a wish very well. You're like, fuck, that's not exactly how I thought it would play out. Well, you need to really think about this in regards to ghosting and wanting the truth all the time. I want you to know it's very natural. We need to kind of get over it. But the main thing is, while it hurts because you're invested too much in them, or you don't have very much invested elsewhere. So if you don't have options, you're not dating other people, or if you don't feel that you could easily replace that person that ghosted you, that's when it hurts. It hurts because you feel like they are taking something away from you, and that hurts, or you feel like you can't replace it very easily, and that hurts. All right, so a lot of people who don't have very many options, ghosting hurts them a whole lot more than people who do have more options. All right. Something to think about. Let me know what you all think about ghosting. Are you with me, understanding that it's very beneficial, has its uses, or are you just like, fuck it, it's the world's worst thing ever. I hate it. I'll never do it to anybody. Let me know your position on it. And if you have any other thoughts, share those in the comments below, will you? All right. Remember, as always, if you want better results in your life, you got to become better. As always, take care. See you in the next video. Thanks for watching. If you appreciated the content, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And if you're ready to level up your love life, Take 30 seconds to visit my website right now. Join my free academy. I'll send you exclusive content and invitations to participate in my online group conference calls. And if you're ready for serious change, sign up for a free barrier breakthrough phone call with me.